You're not on the field, court, or ice. You're on the couch. From PG to DC, this is Coaching from the Couch with your host, CWall, delivering coverage for all DC sports teams from the hometown perspective. Nats, Skins, Mystics, DC United, Washington Wizards, Caps, Bowie State.
My name's CWall, I'm a PG girl. Down for my skins, I don't know if you heard. If you like watching sports, then I am your girl. Sit down on the couch if you not on the field. Court on the ice, pick any sport that you want. Know that I cover it tight. What would you like? From baseball to football and more. The list can go on the whole night. Big shouts out to my HBCU fam. Never forget who I am through the wins and the losses, the highs and the lows. We gotta stay strong, so I stay 10 toes. Make the competition back. The way I kick it make them mad, man. CWall and we live and direct. Sit back on the couch and relax. Come on.
Welcome to Coaching from the Couch, live from the studio. I am your host, CWall. Happy Thursday, everybody. So happy for you to be joining me. Today, I'm not going to do y'all like I did last week. And I talked the whole entire time about the Washington Redskins. So I do have to talk about them tonight, but I want to do a kind of rundown of everything going on in DC sports right now because, as you know, there is never a dull moment when it comes to sports in the District of Columbia. So let's get right to it. So first things first, let me just announce that DC is getting an XFL team. Right. What is that? Exactly. I asked that when I first heard. I was like, wait. The XFL. So an XFL team will be coming to DC February 2020. If you remember, the XFL didn't last too long. They only had about one season, and that was back in 2001. So the XFL is coming back. The team in DC will be playing at Audi Field. So I think you could probably start getting a deposit on season tickets. The deposit is only like $50. But if you go online, the XFL.com, there's a whole promo video and all of those things that you can just go in there and check it out. There's 8 cities getting teams. I think it's Dallas, Houston, I don't know, Tampa Bay, St. Louis, and I don't know the rest of them. I can look it up, but I got a lot to talk about. DC's getting one, and that's what matters. So, moving right along, let us welcome the University of Maryland's new football coach, Mr. Mike Locksley, native Washingtonian, and so super duper excited to have Mike back in the area. He's a former Terrapin coach, so he's very familiar with the program. And you know what? After everything, those young men have been through and the entire program has been through this year, I definitely see this as a bright spot. Definitely something very positive, and it was really a breath of fresh air. Some folks had already anticipated that Mike Locksley would get the job, and he has. So for those of you that want to know more about Mike Locksley, let me go ahead and share a few things about Mike. I mean, he can coach, first of all, and he has a long history of coaching, starting out as an assistant at his alma mater, Towson. Coached at the U.S. Naval Prep School, the University of the Pacific, Army, spent 3 or 4 years, 4 years at Maryland, where he was actually a running backs coach, and he coached the very awesome Lamont Jordan. He's coached at Florida, so he coached the Florida Gators. He's coached at Illinois, then from 2005 to 2008. 2008, Illinois went to the Rose Bowl, and then he actually was also coaching at New Mexico. I gotta mention the New Mexico stint because that is part of his coaching history. That stint didn't go so well, but he, of course, has learned from those mistakes and those lessons learned, as we all do. So after that, he returned to Maryland as an offensive coordinator and a quarterbacks coach. Then he went to coach under the great Nick Saban for the Alabama Crimson Tide. So let's just be real clear. You're not going to coach for Alabama if you're a scrub. So he's no scrub at all. The man is awesome. So very happy to have him back. He will coach Alabama through the playoffs, but He's the new head coach of the Maryland Terps, and very, very excited about that. On to the Nats. So the Nats signed a free agent pitcher, Patrick Corbin, 29-year-old lefty, 6-year, $140 million contract. So we have a new pitcher joining the team. So the Nats have been making some moves this offseason. They've picked up some catchers. They picked up a few relievers. So, of course, people are still holding on to hope, think that they're going to bring Bryce Harper back. I don't know about all that, and that's not what we're going to talk about tonight. But Corbin comes to us from the Arizona Diamondbacks, and he came off probably what those consider his best season last year. So the Nats are definitely getting a gem, someone that will add to the team. I think it's a very good move. And so all you can do is get better. That's what the offseason is for, is to get better. And the Nats are showing that that's what they're trying to do. So I'm in full support of that move for sure. Now, we've covered the XFL, new Maryland coach. The Nats just added a new pitcher, Patrick Corbin. Just want to bring up my Caps for a second. The Caps the other night, then I play in a few. They play at 9 o'clock, the Arizona Coyotes. But I do want to bring up their rematch with the Vegas Golden Knights on Tuesday night, in which the Caps did lose that game 5-3. Now, the reason why I want to bring this up is because you all have heard me talk a lot about what I call one of my favorite DC players, Tom Wilson. Now, have you all seen those shirts that say "Fight for Old DC"? So that's Tom, the person that's like fighting on the shirt. That's the depict. Well, I think it's Tom. If somebody can tell me if I'm wrong, but every time I see it, I be like, that's Tom Wilson, because he is the true definition of Fight for Old DC. And you may have remembered that Tom was suspended at the beginning of the hockey season due to his rough play during the preseason. Tom has been suspended actually like 4 times in the last year. So Tom is no nonsense on that ice. And he's a tremendous player on top of that. So, it's good to be no nonsense and an aggressor, especially when you're good. So he hits all of those cylinders. What was interesting, what I found on the game the other night, Ryan Reeves, who is, I believe, the forward for the Vegas Golden Knights, he and Tom Wilson have been jarring at each other all night. I mean, pretty much everybody jars with Tom Wilson because he's just that guy. So they were going back and forth all night. Then what happened while Tom wasn't looking, he took the puck, he did a pass on the puck, and Ryan came up and just bow. He just like, I get real like, boom. I do stuff like that because I can't really figure out how to articulate it. So he just hit him real hard when he wasn't looking. And Tom, his head hit the ice and everything. It was very dramatic because they fight a lot in hockey. So I'm looking at this, and Tom was knocked out. He was down for a while. Ryan Reeves, he did get ejected from the game. I think he got a penalty, but he's not going to incur any suspension for that hit. So it came across my mind. I said to myself, will Tom start getting, the behavior that he's always done to people? Will people start doing that to him now? Because see, the thing of it is, Tom can't get in too much more trouble. He just can't. So, at least I don't believe that he can. He got hit. Really, the suspension was a 20-game suspension, I think. And then they shortened it to 14, 20-game suspension, which they shortened, I believe, to 14 games. So, Tom they're on the lookout, watching Tom. And I'm wondering now, is this a signal to other teams that are probably pretty disgruntled and just flat out sick of Tom? Like, I'ma just clock him because he can't do anything back. Because if you retaliate, so he takes it too far, you gonna get hit with another suspension. And the reality is, he's an asset to the Caps. They've been on they lost the other night, but and Tom isn't gonna play tonight. Tom's hurt. That hit was rough, hitting that ice. So Tom, I think they were on like an 8-3, winning spree. Well, 8-3, they lost 3 games, but you get what I'm saying. And so they were doing better with Tom. She's a person that they missed, and that just made me think. Not a big deal, but it just made me say to myself, is this going to start being a trend? Like, now people are going to start targeting Tom because... What you gonna do, Tom? Do what you always do and then get put out and get suspended again? Because I definitely think the league was making a point to say, Tom, you need to chill out. Or you out of here, or we'll suspend you for 40 games next time, and don't appeal nothing because you short. So I don't know. That's just something to think about. Of course, the Vegas Golden Knights coach said that wasn't targeting. That was a clean hit. Of course, Caps coach Todd Reardon said, oh, it was targeted. Again, because it's Tom, and Tom has a history. I don't know. But it just made me think, is this going to start being a trend? Who knows? Maybe not. I hope not. Because Tom ain't going to take too much more of that. Tom ain't got time to be playing with none of these people at all. Now, so only a couple more teams I can talk about. And that's either the Redskins or the Wizards. And I can sit here, even though I know what I'm supposed to be talking about first. I'm going to go with what we're supposed to be talking about. Not first, but the Redskins. First, let me start out the Redskins conversation by saying, Alex Smith, shout out to him. Get well soon. Of course, it is now public knowledge that Alex has had a setback in his recovery from his injury his leg injury that he incurred on November 18th. So just want to send a shout out to Alex and his family. The Washington Redskins also put out a statement stating that the family is remaining strong, and they please just for everyone and including the organization to respect their privacy at this time, and just our prayers are certainly with the Smith family. So hope all is well and things just can prayerfully continue to get better for you, Alex. Alex is a great guy. You hate to see anything like this happen to any player. So just truly hope that all works out there. I had to say that about my guy Alex Smith. Next, I would like to say a thank you to Adrian Peterson, or should I say to Doug Williams in this case, for taking a chance and getting Adrian Peterson here. Adrian Peterson, as far as I'm concerned, has carried the Redskins offense the entire season. It's just no doubt about it in my mind that he has done an amazing job. I say this so much to say because everyone keeps talking about how old he is. At 33 years old, I think he's 33, and that he's got so much gas in the tank. On that 90-yard touchdown on Monday, it didn't matter how old he was. He was getting it out there, and you gotta love somebody that has that kind of drive and has that kind of will to keep their body in shape and eat right and do all those great wonderful things. So shout out to Adrian Peterson. Now I had to go back and watch the replay of that 90-yard touchdown, and here's why. And I have a couple people in the studio with me, so if you hear them chime in or start hollering, laughing, just roll with it, because it's all a part of the fan engagement thing anyway. So hey, here's why I missed the live 90-yard touchdown. When I saw Mark Sanchez warming up on that sideline, don't do it. I said, Jesus, just take me now. Just forget it. Just get me out of here, please. Now, I can't technically say no shade because this is very shady, so I can't say that. Mark Sanchez is a great sense of humor. But like my sis Joy over here said, I don't need him to have a great sense of humor. I need him to be a great quarterback. Yeah, we don't need no jokes. We, okay, but we don't need that. I was so distraught. I think it's when it hit me. I knew, okay, they needed somebody that knew, the offensive coordinators. That was the whole logic. The logic has been, because it's so late in the season, the coaches say, we're going to go with a quarterback that knows somebody up in here. So like they signed Josh Johnson this week. Who exactly? I don't know. But you know you got to do. You know it was like I don't know. But I have to be honest. I have to be honest with you all. I didn't know it. I was like I don't know who that is, and so it didn't. But you go back and you research and say, okay, yes, I know who that is. But Josh Johnson also has been working with Jay Gruden. I don't think I have that wrong. And working with Jay Gruden, so they're keeping consistent with the message of they wanted to because it's short notice. These are injuries. You got to play the next week. They got to bring somebody in here that knows at least the coaches so they can come up to speed a little bit on the terminology and the language. Sometimes when you're playing these sports, when you go from program to program, the terminology and the language is different. So in all fairness, I do believe that there's some truth to, okay, we got to bring somebody in here that understands the language. I get that. But I'm going to tell you, when I saw Mark Sanchez out there, I said, oh no. Because when you get him out there, then your thought process is, well, who cares as long as he doesn't play? Like, whatever. Now he's got to play on prime time. And we already know what that means for the Redskins. You know, the Redskins have only won like 5 primetime games out of like 30. I mean, a lot. I don't know. No, I don't think I'm exaggerating though. It's only been like 5. It's bad. Their prime time or even Monday Night Football record is not good, right? Then I saw another stat or another fact. It's not necessarily a stat. Another fact that said, and it escapes me who posted it first, but I also saw this. I would look it up right now, but I'm not gonna do that right here. That the Redskins have gone 27 consecutive seasons without winning 11 games. At least 11 games. 27 years.
That's a shout out to the fans.
I mean, hey, look. Find y'all a Redskins fan to marry and to be with. Because I'm telling you, they loyal. 27 years? I felt I was embarrassed. I said, oh, what is wrong with me? Let me stop. What's wrong with us?
That's loyalty for you.
That's loyalty. It don't get no, hey, that's one thing you can say about Redskins fans. They loyal. 27 years, not even 11 games. That is pathetic.
They're 1-8 since 2013.
Oh, please. What? Oh, 20. It was 1-8.
1-8 since 2013.
Yeah, see. See, that kind of stuff right there. I don't know who makes the Monday Night Football rules, but something they don't need to be on primetime no more. Take them off. I mean, hey, that's my take. Listen, I told everybody last week, hey, listen. For real, listen. I love them all day long, but that don't mean I got to like what you do. Mm-mm. And I don't like what you do. That's embarrassing. You can't keep going on people's TV just doing that. That's hideous. Oh, is that something else that's bad?
They're 5-21 on Monday nights.
I told you it's been 30
games.
I told you it's been about 30 games. So in 26 Monday Night Football games, 5. My squad, they got to stop wasting people's time like this. It's not right. I'm sorry. It's not right. It's not fair. It's a lot. That's everybody got quiet. And that's saying what you gonna do?
Is gonna win football games.
I mean, yeah. If you gonna win, I don't know what the rule is.
Choking?
Maybe it's a rule. You know that I need to be educated on who gets prime time. Everybody, but just save them for Sunday at 1. You know, the 4:30 games are cool too. The 4:25 ones are cool. Those are good games, especially if the weather is nice. But other than that, like no, I love them. It's no shade. That is shade. I guess it is shade. I can't say no shade in this case because it is shade.
No,
but
it's kind of factual.
It's factual.
Yeah.
It's fact, and it's not pretty. It's not good. But you have to be honest. And I'm gonna go back to a conversation that we were having a couple weeks ago when, and I got on my soapbox last week on the strength of the fans. Just before, I don't even know what it was, before the Texans game, before everything went downhill. It was a whole, the fans need to come out, the fans need to come out, the fans need to come out. And I was like, hey, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying in theory, because yes, other teams lose and their fans still come out. I do understand that. However, some of that stuff is a tough pill to swallow. You can't keep, you know what I mean? Lose away. Don't lose at home. But I don't want you to lose away either. But it's a lot to unpack there. It's a lot to unpack. There's a lot of years of disappointment. And Monday night was no different. Shout out to Colt McCoy too, because I know that moment meant so much to him. All of them had, the Dallas game meant a lot to him. This was an opportunity for him to redeem the play. It was an opportunity for the team to redeem the play. So from Thanksgiving. So to get hurt and be like, because you're a backup at the end of the day. So hopefully you get better and you get picked up, or the Redskins resign you, or however that works out. But nobody wants to get hurt. It's football, so people do get hurt. It's a given, somebody's going to get hurt. You're not going to go your whole season with a 53-man roster that everybody's going to be healthy week 1 into the Super Bowl. It's just not going to happen. Every team experiences it. But here we are again, speaking of injuries, the second year in a row. I think I saw something that said the Redskins in 2 years have dealt with 40 injuries. There's 17 injuries, 17 season-ending injuries on the roster right now. What is going on? Something has got to give. I don't know if it's the trainers. I don't know if it's the lack of preparation. I don't know if it's the field. But whatever it is, it's got to be figured out, because these guys are experiencing season and potentially career-ending injuries as a result. And this is, to me, I'm going to go ahead and say it. This is not common, I don't think. I think this is very uncommon to be dealing with these amount of injuries in this amount of time. 40 in 2 years? That is a lot, and needs to be, and hopefully is raising some eyebrows in the front office, because it's raised mine, and it should be raising others as well. So, hopefully everybody that's injured gets better, but this is just a lot to unpack. You a couple weeks ago, it was, the potential to go 7-3, holding on to sole possession of first place in the NFC East, to now 2 of your quarterbacks got broken legs. You know what I mean? And now you got even more people on your injury list. And oh yeah, by the way, now you're 3rd in the NFC East. Now, I guess I'm supposed to get up here and tell y'all that it ain't over.
It's over. It ain't over.
It ain't over. They could win out. They could win out and then win 10, and then be 10 and whatever it is they are. 10-6. They could. Do I think they will? No. And I'm leaving that. I don't think they will. And that's unfortunate. Because they did such a surge so quickly. I know for me, it was like they overachieved. It was like, whoa, I wasn't expecting all that. But now we're seeing not only injuries, we're seeing a decline in performance from a defensive line perspective. The defensive line, well, there's an injury there too. Matt Ioannidis was hurt. He didn't play. And that was a for sure. I can see the running backs on the Eagles running back, they was buzzing right on through there because Matt Ioannidis wasn't there. I want to call him Matty Ice so bad, but we can't call him that because that's a whole nother team, Matt Ryan. But it was just, I don't know if guys or if people, if offenses have figured them out, which would be the smart thing to do, and which is typically what teams do.
That's why they watch the video.
That's why they watch the film. Mm-hmm. So perhaps that's what it could be. But we saw a surge, and we saw a line that could not be broken at all. We seeing people just go through there like it's nothing now. So I don't know if these guys are tired. Perhaps they themselves are injured, and some of this stuff is being kept under wraps. Who knows? But I do know that offenses have found them out. And I'm just going to go ahead and say, because I'm going to go ahead and keep talking about them until it's time for us to go so I don't have to talk about the Wizards. Because I don't want to talk about that. That's depressing. And so, hey. They on a 3-game win streak or something like that. I remember the last time I shouted out a 3-game win streak, they lost 15 more. So let me stop. They ain't even had 15 games. They haven't even had 15 games. But they playing good. You know, they doing what they supposed to do. And that's all I can say about that. Mm-hmm. And back to the Redskins. So what was I saying? See, the Wizards already got me. I didn't even know what I was saying about the Redskins before I started talking about them crazy Wizards. Oh, the injuries. Then we talking about the defensive backs. A lot of people, I have to bring this up because I was one of the people that was very excited when Clinton Dix got here. In his defense, he's in a new system, everybody, and he has to learn the terminology. You know, I thought he did okay in that Tampa Bay game. I really did. Now,
that was about 8 years ago.
I don't know what he's doing, but it's not good. So, how many more games left? Four more games. Yeah, 4 more games. They could win out.
Win out, get a wild card spot.
Yeah, they could win out and get a wild card spot. They could just, say, hey, at least we won 10 games with all the injuries. I will say this. If they don't win out, the reason will be because of the injuries. And that's going to be my challenge, is looking at this and saying, no, don't use these injuries as an excuse. Because everybody wasn't hurt when y'all was stinging it up some of them days. So, you know what I mean? Like some of them.
The injuries speak to.
Well, the injuries do speak to that. That's true.
To the team.
Right.
I mean, you got 2 quarterbacks with broken ankle, broken leg. Yeah. That says something about your line. Like.
Right. Yeah. So we have to see what continues to happen and what continues to go on. And we just gotta hope for the best.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we got 3 more minutes. So I don't know. I asked the question, I guess last week, hey, it's Pro Bowl voting time. Do we have any Pro Bowl candidates? And it was, at first it was, defensive line, they get a spot. A couple people said Matt Ioannidis, a couple people said Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Tressway. Tressway about the only person getting my vote. Tressway and Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, I'm saying Adrian Peterson.
Tressway and Adrian Peterson. And Adrian Peterson, that's just off GP because he wasn't even on a roster, at the beginning of training camp. So, nothing but shout out to me. But what speaks mountains to that, though, and which might be an eyebrow raise, is the usual suspects for the Pro Bowl. I would like to see my Ryan Kerrigan back for the last 4 games. I want to see my guy. Brandon Sheriff got hurt. He's a monster. If Brandon Sheriff had not gotten hurt, yes, of course. But I would like J-No in there.
Knew you was going.
I have to say him because I should listen. Loyal. It's a gift and a curse. Yeah. I'm not saying he deserved it. You know what I'm saying? Wait, let's be clear. Even though he did that interception was about the only thing.
It was the best thing in the whole season.
It was the best thing in the whole season with him. You picked off Carson Wentz in the red zone? Yes. But that's about it. So, yeah, so the usual suspects it's a little unfortunate that we didn't get the usual suspects in there. We'll see. They might still get in. DJ Swerger, he's leveled off a bit. Zach Ertz was burning them up on Monday night. He was tearing them down out there. So DJ's got to get better.
Yeah, he needs to stop trash talking his own team.
Yeah, he's got to stop trash talking his own team. We already know they're lazy. We can see it. We can see the lack of preparation when they're on the field. You can see it. So he doesn't. I think at this point he doesn't have to tell everybody because we know, because you see it. But shout out, to my team. Hails to the Reds. I dragged them for the last 15 minutes of this conversation. That's what you do when you love somebody. You want to see them do better because you know that they can. So I'm being told to wrap it up. So I guess that's it. Until next week. Who knows what'll happen next week in DC sports? But we're going to be on here talking about it. All right. Well, you all have a good night and be blessed, you all.
20 seconds.
Sports is what we do. It's the fast track at peak speed, moving across the ice, blockers, hitters, B-team, beatdowns, and knockouts, doubleheaders, playoffs, touchdowns, smackdowns, on the mat or on the track. The spirit of a champion. The triple-double. Make that double front flip. This is what we do.